Welcome to Call Us Mommy Podcast, where we get real about mom life, relationships, and careers. I'm Tianna, a single mom of 3.
And I'm Ariel, a married mom of 4. We're both on a mission to empower you not to settle in any area of life.
Have you ever thought about where you would be if you would never become a mom?
Yeah, often.
I'm sure you have. I think we all have, right? Like,
yeah, I don't feel like I do it in a way like, dang, I wish I didn't have these kids. And I'm like, I'm like, I wonder what I would have did if I would have made different choices in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that I would actually live in a big city, which is really crazy that I wanted to do that because nothing in me wants that anymore. But I wanted to model and live in a big city. Or as my little self would say, I wanted to open up a store and sell pictures of myself. Before OnlyFans was a thing, guys. Like, that's what I wanted to do.
And actually, not what little Tianna was thinking, like.
No, I was thinking literally of my face. Like, I just thought my face was just amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. That's funny.
Sounds like Sophia.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know. I never really thought of not being a mom. I just thought of, like, the in-between of becoming a mom. Mm-hmm. That never happened. And I literally was going to sign up, I can't remember what it's called. But I was going to go, the Peace Corps. I was going to go to the Peace Corps. And then we got pregnant. So I never
Of course, you wanted to do something really, like, genuine and, like,
I don't know.
Serve.
I'm sure that my intentions were not as pure as that sounds. But, yeah, that's what I was going to do. But I did envision myself being in, like, a big, like, corporate company. Like, just, like, the rush, like, the hustle of the day-to-day.
Yeah.
Which we still have, just in a different capacity, I guess.
Yeah, definitely different.
But I don't look at that and wish that I had that. I think, honestly, because I found such a, like, good in between with the career path that I've had, I've been lucky to be like, this is better, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my teen self did not want any kids, but I have 3 lovely babes, and I could potentially have more open to it.
Put that on our dating profile.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't wish that life, but it's definitely different when you think about, like, the life you plan when you're, like, a teenager or, like, a little girl, then you actually grow up to, like, what is your life?
Mm-hmm. And I think that changes too. Like, obviously our dreams and stuff change.
Yeah.
Which I think with our career, like, we've thought we wanted one thing, even our business.
Or we start at something and we grow into something else.
Right. It evolves into something else. Yeah, for sure. So I guess what are some things, like, with your career do you feel like have given you the life that you've had, you know?
It's definitely given me the life I've had in the last 3 years completely, because without being a virtual assistant or being in this virtual assistant world, I wouldn't have anything that I have now. Mm-hmm. Like, not one thing. There's nothing in my life right now, currently. Obviously, like, kids and stuff, yes, but, like, just, like, things, the money, like, the places we can, places we can go, the things we can have, like, the things I can buy, like, down to grocery shopping and everything would not have happened if I wasn't a virtual assistant or in the virtual assistant world. It was all one door opened that just continued, like, it was like a hallway you walk down and, like, there's a door and another door and another door. And I'm like, there's so many doors. Like,
a really good way to
it's just not one door. It's endless.
Do you think if you would have stayed a dental assistant that you would still be a dental assistant now?
Going into that career, I thought, well, I'm going to be a dental assistant and I'm going to be a good little wife and I'm going to have these kids and I'm going to put myself in this small box because that's where I felt like I needed to be. It was like a safe place and, but was I really ever happy? No, because I always had, like, really, really big dreams. Like, even, yes, I wanted to, like, I always had an entrepreneur mindset. Ever since I've been, like, a little girl, I was always doing random things to make money. Selling my pictures. I sold my number. I did my grandpa's laundry. Yeah, I babysat. Like, I was always trying to find ways to make money. And so, like, I knew I wanted to be, like, run businesses and, like, be in control of my day-to-day. So, no, I think I would maybe still be there if I was married and, like, he was controlling all those things of my life. But would I be happy is the real question. No.
Yeah. Did he like when you sold furniture and stuff to, like, make extra money?
Yeah, he did like that, but that was because we were struggling, so we needed that extra money.
If you made it your own business, how do you think?
If I was my own business? Well, at the same time that I started, like, flipping furniture, he started his construction company. So I think he probably would have liked it because I was able to do both. And I needed to,
he under his control still.
Yeah, and I needed to run his company for him so it didn't didn't, you know.
Yeah. So I didn't have a career before I started this career. I mean, I had jobs, but I wasn't like, oh, like I was a PR person or something.
Yeah.
So I think I've thought about it before, and I had been like, if you know anything about my story, like I've been applying for jobs when I stumbled on the virtual assistant world. So I was trying to find in office, like personal assistant, or like I had a degree in public relations and marketing. But if you know anything about the way society works, like you spend all this money on a degree, you don't just go into the job that you went to school for unless you're a teacher or something like that. Like you have to basically like get a junior level job, entry level. So I was thinking I could start off in an office as like an admin and then work my way up. And all the pay was just horrible.
Yes, yeah.
And we were living in a bigger city then, so childcare was even more expensive. And then also living in a city where you'd have no family, no friends. I had more anxiety around sending my kid to school somewhere, you know, for any amount of time to people that I didn't know. So I don't know. I guess I probably would be in an office maybe, or we would have downsized or stayed. We lived in an apartment. We would have stayed in the situation we were with Zaire working one job. Honestly, he'd probably still be working at a factory. Yeah, it would be really sad if he was still there because he was very unhappy during that time.
Yeah. And I just want to say, we're not saying that like being a dental assistant or working in a factory is bad. What we're saying is like, were we content? Like, do you think we would still be content? And some people are like, that's like the life that they want, you know, the dreams. And like we have a best friend who's a dental assistant and she absolutely loves her job. She's amazing at it and she's really happy there. But like me as like my personality and like what I wanted to do and all of these different things, like I wouldn't have been happy.
Right. And I don't think it's a matter of like your job title. Yeah, I don't think there's like a vertical line of like this. It's all horizontal. Like it's just different for people. Yeah, I don't think it's like some people are ahead and some people are not. But
so in your like the career that we're in now, where did you start and like where are you right now?
So I started working for an agency as a virtual assistant. I didn't know what that was going to entail, but it was mostly like admin stuff. I did a lot of like booking travel and scheduling, coordinating schedules and research. That was probably, and by research, like, you know, like that's not, we're not researching like history papers. Like that's what I originally thought whenever like they talked about you know, your role. I'm like, I hated essays, you know, I hated like research papers. It's literally like, please research what credit card is best for me or like what cruise line I should go on.
I've also had to research like Teslas, like different things on the Tesla.
It's kind of fun.
It is.
Like one of the executives of the agency that I worked for actually said like, he was like, I learned so much about infertility and like the IVF world and I would never have, but because of the client that I worked for, like they needed all this information and I researched it for him. And he's like, it's kind of cool to like have that information.
And you're getting paid to learn.
Yeah,
like this
it's
really
kind of cool
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of it, you know, some of it might be boring, like the credit card thing that might be boring. But later on, it's like such useful information. That stuff changes, but it's just, it's interesting. So I was doing stuff like that and I was making, I think like $10 or $11 an hour. I eventually moved into like a manager position in that agency. I think that my salary was like $35K. I remember whenever I got that like proposal being like, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, I made it, like $35K and it's guaranteed. And I felt so, I don't know, I just felt so adult, I guess. And now that's like crazy. Like I think we, you know, struggle with that. That was also almost 10 years ago. So that probably means a little bit more now. Or then.
Only one kid versus 4 kids.
Yes, exactly. I went on the way.
Oh, okay.
And so whenever the agency, it like closed their doors overnight, it was a startup, just a lot of drama happened. And I had one on the way. I think I was like 3 months out of having her. And I started working with a couple of my clients I still had from being a virtual assistant with the agency personally. And started off doing all the same things. And then since I was doing it on my own, like with an agency, like you sometimes they make you sign like certain things that you can't do because they want the support to be consistent from assistant to assistant. And even though some assistants might be able to provide like some more high level support, another one might not. And so they just don't really encourage you providing that service. But when you're working with an assistant or a client on your own, you can do whatever you want. So I started to do a little more high level like stuff where I was like creating processes. Zared, getting on to me for saying processes.
I say that.
And things like that. So I started to grow into like a more executive assistant then rather than like just like a personal assistant role. And so I was able to charge a little bit more. I didn't really go anywhere from there. I didn't really get into any specific area because I really liked that. I liked being able to do personal assistant. I really love scheduling. I just love doing it. So that was like a thing that I never wanted to give up, but I still like doing some more higher level stuff. And then I started working for a company as an executive assistant, but they were like a startup. So they were like, we also need to do all these other things. And I was like, yes, that's what I want. Like I want that challenge, but I still want the consistency of my role in this area. And so I started working more as like a partner manager and an executive assistant, and then a marketing assistant. And then now I'm like more like a project manager, which is very similar to what a virtual assistant does, but you're high level managing it and doing the tasks. I mean, it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm doing now. And obviously like what we do.
Right. Yeah. That's
What
good.
about you?
Well, when I started, I was, you actually got me a client with one of your clients, and they were startups. And so, like you said, and especially, he's still one of my favorite clients, but he always told me, like, don't put yourself in a box. And because I was new, he was like, try everything. And I'm so glad that I was like open to that, because it taught me a lot just in the first 3 months. But I worked with startups, so they didn't just give me like, here's some admin like things. They literally were like, here, edit my website, here, like go make changes here.
But one thing I think to know, and this is about you and not really the VA world, and I think this is important. This would be like a VA tip that, you know, you could get if you are in your virtual assistant journey and you're looking for tips. Most clients won't do that. They won't hand you stuff to go a little bit farther. They will do what they can come
Sometimes
up with.
they'll do the minimum.
Yeah, they're like,
bare
I
minimum.
can't really think of what you can do for me, but I know I need help with scheduling or something like that, so they'll give that to you. And it's your job always to push them to hand off more. And so if you see them like struggling with their website, and it's something like doable that you could do, like most websites that these clients are going to be using,
They're like plug and play.
Right.
It's super easy.
They're very easy. Like you could do it probably from your phone. Like it's super, super easy. And so if it's something like that, suggest yourself doing it, because their mind will probably be blown that you're like, oh, you can do that? Well, honey, if you could do it, then I'm probably going to do it, kind of thing. So but keep going.
And maybe that is why, because I was always like, give it to me. Like I'll try it.
And
if I
figure it
can't
out.
do it, I'll figure it out. If not, I will find someone who can do it for you.
Right.
But yeah, so then over the years, and at this time I was married, and so I did have a full-time client for a few months, but then things changed, like with just the dynamic of my marriage and stuff. So he cut my hours back again, and then I would take on a couple clients like here and there. But really, it was like toward the end of my marriage. So this would have been around like the 4 or 5 year mark of being a virtual assistant. That's when I really got into like finding what I actually like doing. I was working with like a few smaller clients, but I was doing what I wanted to be doing. That was more like coming up with the strategies, like organizing things in their company. Like I know it has like the title now of like the online business manager, which is basically like a project manager, someone that's overseeing everything in the company. So like I would follow up with like if he has subcontractors or if he has employees, like I would be managing them, making sure like the things that they're supposed to be doing and getting done is getting done. And then like task management. So like if they don't have a system set up, I would set up the system, organize it, and then like stay up to date with like, okay, like is this due? Is this past due? And follow with those people, like why is this not, been completed? I like that part. It's just being like a manager and like overseeing a lot of things and like putting in strategies and different things like that. That's what I like doing. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Still doing like some scheduling things, but trying to work my way into like exactly where I want to be.
I think what's cool about this role is that unlike an in-office, like even if you're an EA or an assistant in an office, you're going to have less opportunity to explore other things, because most of the time these are set up in like corporate systems. So it's like on such a higher level that like the startup way of things just doesn't incorporate, because everyone's so set in their ways, which is probably because it works for that environment.
But you're in a box. So like to grow in position is like, I'm going to work here for so many years and hopefully I can work my way up. And it's not
into
like
a different role.
Yes.
Yeah. And so with the virtual assistant, like you can really, like I always had the title of a virtual assistant.
Yes.
But I was working so many different roles, and I probably should have been like, well, I'm going to update my title. But I wasn't like a title person, so it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But I was a great person. So I was like, because I'm doing these things or, providing a different quality or like level of support, now my rate is going to be X, Y, and Z. And so obviously, like, I think we all look for a title difference or upgrade because we're looking for that salary upgrade.
To me, a virtual assistant falls under all of these things. And now if you listen to other podcasts and like different things,
or ask most people,
they will say it's totally different. To me, it is. Like a virtual assistant can be an admin, a personal assistant, or it can be like an online business manager. It can be a project manager. It can be an EA. Like it can be a social media manager. You're still working virtually and assisting.
Right.
Those virtual assistant. Those are the two keywords that people use. But your title or what you're doing can be completely different. And yes, the pay scale is different too, depending on what you're doing.
And I think most people associate it with like the foundation, entry level type of admin things. And then you can like grow from there, but it's really up to you. And like, I don't think that you necessarily have to be ambitious to go into these like other roles that we're talking about that we've done.
You just got to be a good quality assistant.
You can be an ambitious, like just virtual assistant or personal assistant. Because here's the thing, like whenever you post tips on your TikTok, like you do a lot, you get clients.
More clients than assistants.
Commenting being like, wow, like if my virtual assistant had done that, I would have kept her or them or whatever. I would have, paid them more or it would have worked longer.
Yeah.
And I think we get so used to like in a world where you are in a 9-to-5 where they give you a job description, they tell you what to do, that you stay within those lines and it's hard to change that mindset. I think it worked for both of us because you were in a dental assisting world, but like one, you have a personality of like a go-getter and you're just like, I'm just going to bulldoze that and make it work better.
And knock it over.
Yeah, because that's not working. And then I am always like I want to literally like lay my life down to make your life better. Like I'm a people pleaser. So both of us have personalities that work really well to push to like make things better.
Yes.
And so I think it worked for us, but I think you can also like just change your mindset to say, I'm in control of what my role is going to look like.
Yeah.
Obviously your client is to some degree because if they're like, I don't want you doing this, then you push them to do it.
And that's what we always tell the ladies that we coach. And I would say like, worst case scenario, you ask them and they're like, okay, actually like, no, thank you. Yeah. And then, don't ask again if they already told you no. But like, I have never asked a client like, hey, I'll take care of this. And they're like, oh no, I got it. I've never unless it's like a quick email, they're like, oh, I already sent that.
Right.
That's different. But like,
but sometimes we'll even appreciate just the action of you doing that because like, oh, I really appreciate the proactiveness of you trying to do that, even though it was already done or whatever.
And that's a great way to grow as an assistant though, is because you can try different things. I mean, literally YouTube, guys, you can YouTube real quick, like, oh, how do you do this? And you're probably going to figure it out. So you can figure it out. If you can't, be a problem solver and then go find someone who can do that for you.
And honestly, like what you said about what we tell the ladies in the program, if you follow us, like if you're listening right now and you have been wanting to join our program or like want to join our program to speed up your journey, like what are you doing?
Also, we need assistance.
Just like join the program because this is why this is so helpful is because if you've not been in this world, it can feel really weird to push someone that you view, even though they're not, you view them as your supervisor, to push them to hand off more to you. It feels weird because like you're not really trained to do that in a 9-to-5. Or even if you haven't worked in a long time, it just feels weird knowing that like this person,
or you feel like they have so much more knowledge than you is what, in which rightfully so, a lot of them probably do have more knowledge than me. But I was always just so confident in myself and like that I could do something that I didn't let it bother me.
Right. Think about this, like if they were to like put themselves in your position and they were a VA, they're not going to go into that decision being like really confident about scheduling for someone's calendar. Like that's not their thing. That's not their expertise. You are a service provider offering an expertise to this person. Even if you don't view yourself as an expert, like you're more of one than them.
Yes.
So go into it being like, you hired me to give me your, give me my expertise to you and like make the situation better. That's what you're doing. If they don't want to implement it, that's fine. But that's what it is. It's like we had a plumber come and they're like, you need to redo all your plumbing all over the house. And we're like, that's your expertise.
We're only going to change a few.
We're going to take it slow. We're going to work our way through the house. But they gave us our expertise. We weren't mad at them about it.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, we know that's something we need to do eventually, but let's start here. So you have to be aggressive And I think that's
And
like
some
all
of them
across
need
the
that.
line. Yeah.
Some of them need that. Some of them, like, you will find some like executives that like they know what they want. They have their process set up and they're like, here you go, take this, run with this. But majority of them, they need help. They need you to tell them like what they can hand off to you, like how much you can do. Like they need you to like to push them.
Yeah. You've always got to think about it. Like even whenever you're like, we talk a lot about in our program how to set up a calendar invite. It seems so simple, but there are so many small details to this that if you don't pay attention to them, you can mess up a really simple thing.
And there's like a lot of really big details that are just will put your client at ease just looking at the invite, knowing all the information that's in there.
Yeah. So whenever you're setting things like this up, you really have to put yourself in the mind of your client. What are the things that they might be looking for when they go to this? What's going to make them feel a little bit better about this, seeing this like just at a glance? In my work as a project manager to create the projects, or even anything like if you're planning a vacation for someone or something like that, like you would be thinking, what does the journey look like for that person? Like, what does the journey look like for a customer or for the person going on vacation or for my husband whenever he's going to his trip or whatever?
Yeah.
Like you're thinking about all those things so you can remember all the deals. Like, oh yeah, I've got to have him order groceries when he gets there. Or, oh yeah, I've got to make sure like he only packs this much luggage because it gets charged whenever you have more than this weight. You have to think through all those details and it's not hard. It's just going through that journey yourself in your head. So like when you're putting together a calendar invite, go through the journey of, okay, time zones. Like, let me make sure all the time zones are in there. Like, meaning even if my client and the person I'm booking with are in the same time zone, I'm going to put that time zone because I don't know if that other person's going to be in a different time zone whenever they're having this call. So make sure the time zones are in there. Put the location in the location. If there's any information you can put in the description. I always, for anything that I schedule from an email, will copy and paste the entire email thread to a degree. Like if there's stuff in there that doesn't make sense, I'll take it out. But so that if it's scheduled a week or two out or even the next day,
fresh,
the client can look at the email and be like, oh yeah, this is so-and-so about so-and-so.
Yeah.
So make it really, really simple for your client to just be able to see things that you've done and know exactly like, okay, they've got all the details checked off and more.
Yeah, that's good. And just like too, like little things like when I'm going through like my client's inbox, if I see something, like for example, the other day he emailed someone back and was like, oh yeah, I'll get that to you. Well, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I don't see it sent to him. Did he get it to him? So I took on my part, okay, I'm going to set reminders and give him a reminder and ask him if he did it. He hadn't did it yet. So he was like, thank you for that reminder.
Yeah.
But it's like, he didn't tell me to do that.
Right.
I was just going through his emails. I saw that and I was like, I better follow up and make sure this gets done. This looks important.
Yeah.
It's just those simple things.
What do we always say? Like, you've got to mother your clients.
Yeah. That's what we say, moms make the best virtual assistants.
And I don't think any client would like get on the phone with you like on Discovery. I'm like, I really need you to I'm looking for a mama. mommy. But that's basically in a non-sexual way.
Yes, not even like that at all. But like it is like that's what we tell our girls. Like, and that's what we coach. Like a majority of them are moms.
Yeah,
laptop and littles. Is because
I guess a nurture would be a better, not a better, like a different way to
moms are naturally nurturers. That's what I always say. And
or women in general, most of the time.
Most of the time, and they make good assistants because they're looking for all those details. They're planning those things. They're reminding their kids, like, hey, did you brush your teeth? Like, so it's not the same thing. You're not asking your client, did you brush your teeth? But you're asking, like, hey, did you send that to them? I saw that you let them know you're going to send that over. Did you do that?
And don't, because if you see that and you don't do anything about it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's going to make you an average. It'll make you the assistant that whoever your client is going to come out and things like that and be like, oh, I wish my assistant would do stuff like that. Yeah. And if you want to do just that, that's fine. But just know you'll never be able to raise your rate past like a certain amount. That's the kind of what we encourage our ladies. If you want to start making serious money, you've got to go the extra mile and be someone who's like irreplaceable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the little bitty things. It's not these crazy things that we all need to be doing. It's like literally, I was reading that email. It's just a small little thing. Like, didn't take a lot of effort on my part, but it was a big deal to them.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question for you.
Okay.
Do you think if you wouldn't have become a mom, still married and all that, let's say you didn't have kids?
Okay.
That changes the whole story. But let's just say,
it's everything.
Hypothetical. It's all hypothetical.
Okay.
But would you still become a virtual assistant? Or do you think you'd have an office job?
No.
You wouldn't?
I think, no, I wouldn't have an office job. I don't like to be controlled
Yeah.
in any aspect of my life.
No walls can keep her in, guys.
So putting me in the 9 to 5 is just not for me. It's
Yeah.
really not for my personality. There is one thing that I'm like super passionate about that I would do, but I still wouldn't want to be tied to that 9 to 5. I would want to own it. So I can be in control of my schedule and think that's like things that are like going on.
Yeah.
But no, I like wish I would have found this sooner. Like I said, it's not one door. It's literally you open a door and it's like a long hallway is how I picture with doors surrounding you everywhere. And you can just like, you get to choose. Like you get to pick. Like you're not in a box. Like you're in a hallway of doors, okay?
But you got to go open those doors. I think that's one thing.
And it's a small things that we're talking about, like being irreplaceable.
Yeah.
That's how you're opening those doors.
And not even to that point. Like obviously you have to do it then, but there are the small things and the big work that you have to do before you can get to when you can do that with a client. Yeah. You have to put in the work to actually become, a good virtual assistant, yes, but to get those clients. And whether that means like joining a program like ours where you have people around you who are like constantly encouraging you and keeping you accountable, and like when you have a bad attitude about it,
when you have
that bad attitude,
they're all answered.
Yes. Or be someone who is committed to having a good mindset where you're like, I'm going to do this until it works, and can research and answer questions without having to ask them, basically, to like everyone around you. Like you have to have that grit. And I think everybody has that. It's just finding it inside of yourself.
You got to find your why. Once you find your why, like is that you are miserable in your 9 to 5. You have control issues like Tianna and you don't want to be put in a box and told what to do and when you can go to work. Do you want to be home with your kids? Do you want to homeschool? I know a mom that wanted to do it just so she could homeschool.
But then once you get to that why, once you're like, okay, I'm a virtual assistant now and I have enough clients where I am homeschooling, you have to find a new why, because I think that's also what drives you to be a great assistant. And if you stick with like your same why and you are able to keep providing really quality support, that's great. Like maybe your why is still like, I just need to maintain this because I don't ever want to lose a client, and you're good at like keeping up a good customer service. But if you're someone who is like really good at hitting, I don't ever use it in my car. What's it called when you turn on the coast? You know what I'm talking about? When you're on the highway? No, when you turn on your speed, and you're like, I just want to go the same speed. And then you can let off you've never done that? Me neither. No. But Zaire uses it all the time and he's so confused why I don't. Anyway, if you're if you use speed control in your life, like with your job and you're like, I'm secure, it's fine. It's not like that in the virtual assistant world. Like you still have to put effort and like go the extra mile. So that's when you have to find a new why. So like if it's, you've hit your why of being able to homeschool and stay home with your kids, maybe it's okay, I want to make an extra $300 a month so that I can help with vacation or we can go on vacation. Like always be finding a new why to motivate yourself as well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you will just be...
You're like, okay, got it, I'm here. And it's,
Yeah.
It's like something checked off your list.
Yeah. So what's your new why right now, Tianna?
Oh, my new why. Well, I have a goal to keep like an X amount of like money in my bank right now. That's my why. Like I want to keep it at a certain place. I am a single mom of 3 that I provide everything for them. So to me, I want to keep a certain amount of money in the bank and then also have a certain amount of spending because your girl likes to spend money over here. So I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do both and not be in the mindset of like, okay, I'm struggling or I spent my last dollar here or we can't do that. So like I'm really trying to, that's another generational curse I'm trying to break right now. It's like the mindset around the fight or flight around money, like the mindset around money. Like I want to be able to feel secure.
Yeah.
That's my why. What's your why?
My why is I feel like I have a lot of different whys, but probably we are growing our agency right now. And I think that's like a focus of mine. And I want to be able to bring in as many assistants and match them with great clients. I want to make that match and create just like a solid
and also the assistant be happy and the client be happy.
Yeah. Which means not all clients are for us and not all assistants are for us, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But, I am a people pleaser, so it's hard for me to like let that go sometimes. So my why is like, nope, we want to make this very cohesive and stay on mission and on brand. So focus on my why, not my people pleasing.
If I want to add, if you were scared that like there's not enough clients out there, because I have talked to so many ladies being like, but is there enough work? Is there enough clients? Because I posted a video, like we said, for virtual assistant, like it was virtual assistant tips, and the clients had comment on there. I think there was like almost 400 comments on there. But then we had like 30-ish calls booked, client calls booked, guys. That's
and
30
still
clients
coming through. So that's not,
No, that was 30 clients within like that first like week or so that was like posted. So there's clients out there. You just gotta go find them. You gotta look for them. You gotta put in that work. But there is clients.
Oh yeah.
And they need good quality assistants, not just like an average assistant. They want good quality assistants.
And also, quick tip, if you are trying to pursue this journey and you keep having the thought come into your head of, is there enough work out there for me? That's a scarcity issue. That's a mindset issue. When you have that question constantly and you're letting that doubt fuel all of your thoughts, there will not be work for you. There will not be clients out there for you because your mind is thinking that, and so everything around you is looking to prove that thought. Like, you have to go about your day, even whenever it sounds and maybe seems delusional, being like, there is an abundance of clients out there. There's an abundance of work. Even whenever you have days in a row of no, intro calls or discovery calls booked, you have to have that mindset, because otherwise you're going to get really discouraged.
Thanks for hanging out with us on the Call Us Mommy podcast. If you want to spend more time with us, make sure to hit follow. And if you liked the episode, share with a friend and leave a review.